It is quite reasonable to say that if one wants to explore the real character of a country, one must explore its villages. That is because villages are where the traditions and ethos of a culture are more likely to stay alive. So what happens when someone from Europe visits the villages of India, and what happens when someone from India visits the villages of Europe? Let's find out. Within a few days of your arrival, you should be able to realize that India is all about genuine emotions. People don't have fake smiles here. Superficial behavior is completely out of the question. Usually, tourists in India tend to feel so free that they just take their camera and backpacks and start walking, whether it is a small town or the tiniest of villages. Quite often, without expecting anything in return, the locals approach them, talk to them, and even offer for them to visit their home for a meal or for a stay. But can an Indian tourist also expect to feel similar hospitality in European villages? Now, let's pay attention to these visuals from India. This is a small tribal village in Assam. It is important to point out that these people did not know me at all. I had no prior connections in that village, but I was treated like a family member. This is a small village in Maharashtra. Observe how genuine their expressions are. These were absolutely heart-touching moments. For many Indians, this is just a normal behavior, but from a European perspective, this is absolutely out of the ordinary. Now imagine, can an Indian expect to walk so freely in European villages and feel welcomed and accommodated by the locals? Well, for an Indian in Europe, I wouldn't and shouldn't expect similar level of hospitality. Instead, I would rather worry for their safety, especially in the rural areas of Europe. Does it have something to do with skin color? Why is it that as a dark-skinned tourist, one is more likely to face racism in the villages of Europe in comparison to its cities? Does religion have something to do with how people behave? Isn't it true that religions which teach that non-believers are praying to false gods may end up giving some sense of false pride and supremacy to their followers? India feels entirely different. There must be some reason why in Indian villages people are so keen to open their hearts and homes for you. This needs to be further researched, studied and explored. As a foreigner, there is a lot that you can learn from Indian villages. Now I take you to a small village in Himachal Pradesh. Just listen to these sounds.